Okay, so on these, we are being asked to find the perimeter. Now, it will have to tell you in the directions whether you are finding the area or the perimeter. So be careful and make sure you read carefully before you start calculating. So for the first one, it's a square. The sides are all the same, and the reason we know that is because of these congruent lines here. So when we have a square, you can, one way, perimeter just means to add, but with the square, all the sides are the same. So a lot of students get confused on, well, do I multiply? Do I add? Well, basically the formula for the perimeter of the square is saying 4 times s, or adding up the sides. They're all 4 the same. So you can just add all 4 sides up and get your answer, or do 4 times 7. But technically you are adding all 4 sides up. So just remember that if you get confused on the test, just say, if I'm asked to do perimeter, all I'm doing is adding the sides up. So for the next one, we have a rectangle, and they have to tell you the length and the width, because a rectangle doesn't have equal sides like a square. So I was supposed to put this here. So what I know about what I know about a rectangle is the lengths are the same and the widths are the same. So I'm going to add up my lengths and my widths. So you can either write it twice or do 2 times that width. You can write your lengths twice, or you can do 2 times the length. Okay, just like in the first one, I could have wrote my sides out 4 times or multiplied it times 4. But what ends up happening is all the sides are added together. So if you want to keep it simple, you can just write your widths twice, because that's what 2 times W means. I got to have 2 widths. It's up to you. You do need to kind of start learning the formula, but if you want to just add the sides up, for now, this is a L, so 2 lengths. When you're doing the perimeter, you want to ask yourself, did I include all of the sides? If you do 2 times W, you would do 2 times 15.6, but guess what? If you add it up twice, you're going to get the same thing too. And then here, you're going to get 56.2 for the 2 lengths. And then you're going to add it up and get 87.4. What I noticed that she has on this formula sheet, and I'm going to erase because I do want you to get familiar with the formulas, but she has it written as add your length and your width and double it. You're still going to have 2 L's and 2 W's. You're still going to have all the sides of the rectangle. So you could do it that way and say 28.1 plus 28.1 plus 15.6 and double it. What's still going to happen? I'm still going to have 2 28.1s and 2 15.6s. So I still have all those numbers there, all 4 numbers. So that is 43.7. Let me make sure that's right. Yeah. which would be 87.4. Okay, so probably your best bet would be to start learning the formula that she wants you to learn. But if you go blank on the test, just add the sides up. So for the next one, this is I don't know, trapezoid maybe, just add the sides up. Then that's how you have it written on your paper. You can't miss it if you actually find the perimeter. Now, if this side is 25 and there's a congruent line, that other side is also 25. And then you have 10.5. The main thing is do not leave off any of your sides when you're adding them up. So 60.5, and then that would be 88.5, and it would be meters. And I'm not being a good example here, because when you're doing perimeter and area, do not leave off your units of measurement. But for perimeter, it's just you're just measuring length, so it's not squared. It's just the measurement unit of measurement you're using. For your triangle, add your three sides up. So 5 plus 12 plus 13. So our perimeter would be 30 inches. And that is how you find the perimeter. So you have really two formulas here you need to learn for perimeter. If it's a square, it's 4 times S. You're adding all 4 sides up, or you're multiplying one side times 4. But the formula is 4S. The formula for perimeter is you're going to add L plus W, your length plus your width, and you're going to double it. Okay, for the area of a square, it's just side times side, which means side squared. So you don't use all 4 sides when you're finding the area. Don't get it confused with perimeter. So side times side. So 4 times 4, or 4 squared. So your area would be 16 square meters. For a rectangle, it can't be side squared because the sides are not the same, because you have 2 lengths and you have 2 widths, but you're not going to use 2 times L plus W. That is your perimeter. For the area of a rectangle, you use length times width. So 5 times 8, which is 40. Don't forget to use square units in your answer. Now these parallelograms, they're kind of like a rectangle, except you're going to use the height in the base. You're still going to multiply 2 sides, but the sides are a little bit different. Your base is the bottom or the top. They're the same. So your bases would be this side and this side. So your base is 7.7, and your height is measured from the top to the bottom, and it makes a right angle. So it's the distance from the top from one base to the other base. So your height here is 7. So you would do 7 times 7, which I think is 53.9, and it would be square inches. And then over here, this is the same type. Your bases are 12, These are your bases. So you're going to do 12 times your height, which is the height from the top to the bottom base, which is 10.8. So you multiply those two, and you got 129.6, and it's feet, so square feet. And that's your answer. Okay, for this one, it's a parallelogram, and remember the formula is base times height. Now remember, your base is your top and your bottom, and the height is the measure from one base to the other at a right angle. So we know this right angle here is your height. So that means your base has to be 10 and not 9.3, because 9.3 is not connected to the height. Remember, the height measures from one base to the other base at a right angle. So your bases are these two sides. So that would be 80 square yards. Okay, so this one is a parallelogram, and you can see that we know the formula for a parallelogram is base times height. We know that the height is this little right angle going from one base to the other base. So we know the height is 4. So we have to figure out, is the base 7.2 or 11.5? Well, if this is 11.5, then this line is connecting from this side to this side, which is 11.5. So your bases are 11.5. Because a parallelogram, the bases are the same. I hope I'm not making that up. I'm going to look it up in a second just to make sure, because I can't remember this stupid crap, but this should be your answer. Okay, I looked that up, and opposite sides are the same. So you can, if this side is 11.5, then this is, and those are both the bases, so just use one. Okay, your formula for your triangle, the area of a triangle, is base times height divided by 2. Remember, the perimeter of a triangle is you just add all of the 3 sides up. But for area, you have the base and the height. Now the height is the line that goes from the top of the triangle to the base and makes a right angle. So this line that comes from the top and goes down to the base, that is going down to the base, and it measures the height and it makes a right angle. So those are your two numbers. Your base is 24, your height is 27, and then divide it by 2, and you get 324 square millimeters. Don't forget to write your square units. Okay, this one, you know, your height is actually the side of the triangle. It goes down and makes a right angle and touches the base. So your base is 4, your height is 7.5. So here the height and the base make a right angle, and you get 30 over 2, which is 15 square centimeters.